everyone, blessings and welcome. In this video, I will be discussing how to read a person and how to vet a person. This is a very challenging thing to do because essentially we don't get to know people until we actually experience people, and we experience people through what's called time. So the more time that we spend with a person, the more we get to know them. However, there's a way to know a person before you actually get to knowing them. What do I mean by that? I mean by the person's energy. Energy don't lie. Energy always tells the truth. Now, I know some of you out there, probably many of you out there, including myself, have been in positions where we have unfortunately invited the wrong people into our lives. And this happens because a lot of the times we are blinded by how people present, how people look, their charisma, right? That initial attraction, right? Also, that outgoing, gregarious personality the person might have, and the things you have in common, and what's on their resume, and how they look on paper, and how they look in person, and their connections. And there are many things that we're attracted to that would make us more inclined to engage with certain types of people, right? And then some people run a good game. They're very good at pretending, right? They may pretend for a little while, and then unfortunately they switch up on us and they're this completely different person. And the next thing you know, your life is upside down, and your life is in ruins, and it makes you wish that you never met the person, right? So we want to avoid in life as much as possible these types of people, right? And even if the person is deceptive, and if they talk the good talk, and they're wearing a mask, and they're good at pretending, there's a way of getting kind of like around a lot of that in the initial phase and stage of meeting a person. And the best way to pick that up is through that introduction, right? So I believe we all have the ability to pick up on energy. And as I stated earlier, energy don't lie, right? So it's important for us to be able to pay attention to people's energy. And how we do that is, well, before I get into the how to, I just want to let you know that when it comes to the topic of human energy and what's in human energy, human energy is our thoughts, our beliefs, is really the essence of who we are, our psychology, what's there, motives are in the energy. And this is happening when it comes to human beings on a very cellular level, literally on a cellular level in our bodies, right? So this stuff is what's in us, is what's coming out of us, right? So it's all a part of our energy, right? So if a person is a joyful person, a kind person, a giving person, a person that's not self-centered and selfish, that's going to come out in their energy. And if there's someone who's helpful, all of that is going to come out in their energy. But if you have a person who's a liar, a thief, a cheat, that's going to be in the energy too, right? So there's a way of picking that up, but the thing is, we have to learn to be sensitive to these things, and I believe every human being has the ability to do that. I believe it's actually a primal thing that God has put inside of us, is actually a primal thing in order for us to survive and protect ourselves, right? So it's there, but we, in this modern world, we have so many different distractions and things that pull us away from our ability to pick up on these things and pick up on people's energy. And sometimes we feel it, and we, unfortunately, many of us has been there, and I've been there too, we ignore it, right? And we shoo it away because it's not aligned with our thoughts of that person and what we want that person to actually be. Unfortunately, we meet certain people and we have our own, we want to project on that person and what we don't want that person to be, because we want them in our lives for whatever reason, right? Let's say it's like a romantic partner, what have you, or someone we're dating, right? So, and this could be very, very dangerous. Not, really paying attention to that vibe that we get from people, right? So, I want you to know, just to begin this talk, that the essence of a person is in their energy, and it's important for us to take note and to pay attention to what we are picking up with ourselves. So, if we're not in tune to our environment and to other people, especially when you're introduced to someone and you meet them, that is the opportune time to pick up on their energy before they can put on that mask and pretend, before they can send their representative out to meet you. Their energy is going to be there, and it never ever lies, right? So sometimes, we may walk away from a person, having been introduced and have an impression of them, but we picked up something else. But their impression, that what they left with us and what we picked up initially is at war. So we're going to go with that impression because that makes us feel better about that person, right? Listen, go with the vibe you initially picked up, right? So because this is the first thing with this in the reading and initial vetting of a person, is that the energy doesn't lie, and that you have to know that a person energy will present itself before they actually present themselves, right? Because energy is a very powerful thing, especially human energy, right? We can be in a whole mood and enter a room and change the mood of the entire room. So if a person, you notice it with people's personalities, if a person is funny, if they're jovial, if, they're kind of like the life of the party and they walk into the room and it's kind of dead and they come in with that energy, it's going to shift the energy of the room, right? But if someone is, cantankerous, if someone is argumentative, if someone is divisive, if someone wants to start trouble and they walk into the room, that energy is going to come with them, right? So listen. When you initially come into contact with a person, their energy will present itself, and this is something that I practice all the time, and I've been wrong about people in a sense where I have me projecting on that person or me ignoring what I initially picked up. But in essence, because I'm an ultra sensitive person to begin with, and I'm a highly discerning person, I've never been wrong, because energy is not wrong, right? So if you have the ability to tap into this, and if you practice it, you're probably going to hit with, probably most of the time, for me, it's 100% accuracy, because energy is never wrong and I'm able to tap into it. But you're going to get it right more times than you get it wrong, right? So there's like this, for me, this is how I experience it. You may experience it a little bit differently. There's like this seconds that the pure essence and energy of that person is presented before the walls and distractions and their games and the mask and even your own prejudices and your own judgments come, because that could be a problem too. Part of the problem why we can't vet people well, because we might need healing in some area and we're not able to see, but the energy is there. It's always there. It doesn't lie, right? But we may come with our own prejudices and our own judgments, and that might hinder us from rightly picking up on a person's energy. So you got to check yourself as well. So this is why I try to be a clean slate when I meet people and pick it up. So it's this second, I'm trying to explain it, these seconds, very small window of time when it's the purity of who they are and their aura and their vibe. It's there. They can't hide it. They can't disguise it. They can't put a mask over it. They can't veil it. They can't dress it up, because energy don't lie. And if you're able to tap into that, this will help you with the vetting process. This will help you with inviting the right people into your life and reading a person correctly, right? And their motives, right? Now listen, human beings are liable to change at any moment, right? Some people may start out on the right path and they may end up someplace else. So just keep that in mind too. People do change, people have the right to change, and people can change. And we do all change, right? Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. So also keep that in mind. But at all times, the energy doesn't lie. And if you're able to tap into that, then it will help you out a lot when it comes to reading and picking up things about people, regardless of how they look, regardless of their background or how much money they have or how much money they don't have, right? Regardless of their profession, regardless of what they know or who they know, right? Regardless of their exterior, if it's a very attractive person, doesn't matter. What is their energy? What are you picking up? What is their vibration? What is their vibe? That is their essence, right? So, and just know that, energy does shift and it does change, but it can't be destroyed because it's energy, right? But it's with that person. So there's the purity and the essence of that person that is presented before they present themselves. And if you're able to tap into that thing, then it will help you out a lot. But here's the thing with that. We have to be open to what we pick up, right? So if it's someone that you're dating and that you're interested in, and you're picking up when you tap into that person's energy and you can pick it up, that person is deceptive or a cheater or a liar or manipulative or can harm you. If you're picking up negativity with that person, and you know that negativity could be harmful to you. For example, you can pick up that the person is a liar, right? Lies, you can feel lies in that energy. Are you going to be receptive to that? Because sometimes we're not able to pick up on these things because we're not open to the truth. Sometimes we want to believe what we want to believe about the person because we really want to make the relationship happen. We really want to get married, right? We really want to start a family. We really think it's too late for us, if that's the case, right? So listen, or we really just want to be with this person, right? For whatever reason, right? But we have to be open to the truth. And we have to be dedicated to the truth and to honesty. And the more dedicated you are to the truth and to honesty, especially with yourself, you'll be more able to read and to pick up on people's energy and people's vibe. And then you can decide whether or not you want to engage with them at all. And if you do engage with them, you'll know where to place them. No, you're not coming into my inner circle. I may need to deal with you, maybe in business or be an acquaintance or for some particular reason, but we don't need to be together or be dealing with each other at all. So you get to know where to place them depending on what you pick up, right? And sometimes this can be to our advantage, picking up on the good things about people and not judging them by how they look, right? So, sometimes we miss out on opportunities because of our own prejudices and, misconceptions that we have about people based on our own ignorance. And we all have it. Trust me, we all have it, not to get into the, too deep into the racial stuff, but every human being has it on some level, okay? And sometimes that can get into the way of us getting to know amazing, wonderful people. So we have to let that go too. Because that can be holding us back from opportunities in life and getting to know people who should actually be in our inner circle. And they may not look like us, and they may not be from our background, but they need to be in our lives. And we're shunning them away because of our own ignorance and what we think we should have. But that person's energy will tell you what you need to know, especially in the initial phases and stages, and they'll help you to make the right decisions when it comes to who to invite into your life and how do you get there? How do you begin to learn to read people and pick up on people's energy? Well, it starts with stillness, being still and removing the distraction from your life and learning how, and this can be acquired through learning how to meditate. And for me, in my spiritual practice is, praying to God and staying very spiritual and staying very connected in a spiritual way. And also, that here's another thing: you can't lie. A truly spiritual person, it's hard to get over on them too, right? So that's like a double whammy. Knowing how to pick up energy and being a spiritual person, you're gonna get the truth, especially if you want the truth. If you want the truth, you're gonna get the truth. If you want to lie, you're gonna get lies, right? If you want something counterfeit, because you're not real, being real in life, that's exactly what you're gonna get from people and out of life. But it requires an amount of stillness in your soul and being able to peel away those distractions, right? And part of that is going on your own spiritual journey and being healed in certain areas on the inside, so you can properly pick up on these signals, on these vibes, on these on the energy that's around us. And energy is everywhere, right? So it really requires us to be still, and also actually, it's hard to describe this thing, but to kind of like get out of yourself. The more out of yourself that you get, the more discerning and more that you can pick up from other people. So for example, my process is, I meet a person, I'm introduced, and boom, I know the energy is there, so I'm tapping into it. I can't tap into it if I'm thinking about myself. If I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. If I'm thinking about how I'm presenting, if I'm overly consumed with myself and I'm not consumed with who's coming into my presence, if I'm not consumed with, there's a person coming in, I want to get to know them. What is this person about? So it's like you kind of like have to tune yourself out, dumb down yourself and the noise and the voices and the distractions, and be open to that person and being able to receive what's coming in, because whether you realize it or not, something is coming in. A lot of the times we're ignoring it and we're thinking about ourselves and what we're going to say and what we're going to say next, and we're just not picking up on stuff that's important, that's going on with a person that's directly in front of us or in our group, in our environment. So it takes a certain level of selflessness and not thinking about yourself so much. And the more you can not think about yourself so much in this process, the more you'll be able to understand the person that's in front of you initially, right? So you take that ability and that practice with time, and you get to vet that person. And as you pick up, and when you pick up on that energy, and as you spend time with the person, the only thing that's going to happen is they're just going to confirm what you already picked up. Wow, this person is really generous, and I picked up that generosity, and I see this person being generous. So wow, this person is a flake, and I picked up that flaky and flightiness when we met, and they're proving themselves to be a flake. It works. This hasn't let me down yet, because energy doesn't lie. And the more in tune you are to yourself, to God, to nature, to other people, the more you'll be able to vet people properly and really get to know them, But as I said earlier, people can be unpredictable and people can flip the switch. But there's some people, if you look over your life, and even if I look over my life, that they had no business coming into our lives, and that we paid a little bit more attention to what we were bringing in and inviting them in, we could have saved ourselves a lot of pain and regrets. So that's all I wanted to share with you in this video. Energy doesn't lie. Pay attention. And hopefully what you'll be doing going forward is inviting as many wonderful and beneficial and helpful and people into your life that's going to be a blessing and just going to enrich you in so many different ways. So take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next video.